Have a look at the man representing Portugal. Goes all out on the first turn. Frederico had impeccable wave selection. Filipe Toledo, the way he moves his feet around, he's so comfortable shuffling around on his equipment. So much pressure being applied to the tail by both surfers at the moment.
It's the moment we've been waiting for. The Corona Open JBAY final is about to begin. Rookie Frederico Morais taking on Filipe Toledo in brilliant conditions out here at Jeffreys Bay. Joe Turpel alongside former world champ Martin Potter. Potts, the stage is set. We've had multiple 10s. The two of the most informed athletes are fighting for one prestigious prize, 10,000 points on the Jeep leaderboard, $100,000. And we'll see how this one's going to play out. Two different schools of thought with the way they approach this wave.
Yeah, absolutely. Two different schools of thought, yet very similar approaches. And here we go, kicking off the final.
40-minute final already starting off with Frederico Morais getting his way down the line. He's jammed down to the bottom to set up a lengthy pit. He's got the vision and some room to move for a moment there. Now Toledo on the answer. Coils up for a solid twist and wrap right on the money. Jams it off the coping. And there comes that rail work once again from Toledo. A lot of froth on the face. Manages to sneak in a top turn through the turbulence. Real bumpy there, and he's still fighting for the finish. Earning that top turn there, never giving up.
Wow.
Driving hard through the down carve. And now he's going to get out of there. So even with some roadblocks on his way down the line, Toledo knows how important it is to finish on his feet.
That's amazing, just the ability to recover a number of times on that wave and just never giving up. And that's what we love about Filipe Toledo. You know, Joe, I was just about to say, you know, Frederico, first final, kind of, you know, foreign ground, so to speak. Filipe, bunch of finals, drops 10s in every one of them, really. It's going to be interesting to see how Frederico responds to that, and along with Filipe too, you know, and also for me, the fatigue factor. You know, Filipe had, what, probably about a 30-minute break in between. I mean, it's a very demanding wave, physically, mentally, you're tired. Let's have a look at Filipe, putting a lot of energy into this sort of, to me, a marginal wave, kind of very interesting wave selection for Filipe. Normally with this white water, you can see there just trying to fight his way through. And right there again, almost losing it. Just the ability to pull that off is insane. Frederico Morais, just a small score to kick things off. And I think this wave, in the context of the final, will not be a keeper for Filipe.
Really solid on his feet and just had those roadblocks just because of the wave. That foam from the wave previous slowed him down. Now Frederico already on his second effort. Little high line wrap. Now he's down to the bottom of the wave. Driving through, holding that rail. And now running after some open face. Drives hard through that down carve section. Another little jam off the lip and pulls in nice and deep. Another racetrack section that's proving to be impossible at the moment, Potts.
At the moment, Joe. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen with these two guys in the water, but that's the second time Frederico has gone for that barrel and really produced an incomplete ride. I don't think that it's going to cut it really here in the final. You know, if you're going to look for that tube at the end, you've got to make sure you come into that section with 100 miles an hour. There's no sort of slowing too far down. You've got to be going into that full pace. Both of those occasions, Frederico just a little bit too deep, or maybe wiping off too much speed.
Just seeing this final unfold, you just quickly think of Tiago Pettis, the first surfer from Portugal to qualify for the top 34. He has to be so proud of Frederico representing Portugal on the championship tour as they're looking for their first championship tour win for their country as we watch Frederico's last strike.
Yeah, well, Frederico just trying to get the ball rolling. Just a small wave, a 3.0 on his opening wave, big extension of the body right there on his tiptoes on that bottom turn. Now he starts to unload, beautiful turn right there. We've seen a lot of that from Frederico, just holding that rail through, and then right here, pulling in nice and deep, but just a little bit too deep on that occasion. You can see how fast that wave runs off. you've got to come into that section just literally blazing. And Frederico, can see him pulling in nice and deep there, but unfortunately that wave just gobbling him up, and an incomplete ride yet again, and another small score just about to be locked in.
Potch, just think about the energy in a final like this. We've only gone through 5 minutes of it, and it just feels intense. And think about the competitors that have gone through some huge matchups already throughout the day, from Filipe against Jordy Smith and having him combo, and then to Julian, another guy who's got a big reputation here at JBAY.
Yep.
To get right back out there to take on a guy that's been on fire, that, like you mentioned, had a little bit longer rest before the final. Scores in for last of Frederico, 4.5, 3.0. Toledo leads that opening strike with a 5.83.
Yeah, you know, all those 3 rides are not going to be keepers. I think the key really here, 40-minute final, pace yourself, take your time. There's 8, 9-point rides out there, quite possibly a 10. Sean's calling a 6-second barrel and a 10-point ride in the final. So if that's the case, take your time with it. You know, you only need 2 smokers, 2 good waves. You know, there's no point catching a bunch of 3s and 4s and 5s. Wait for the bombs. It is the final.
It's crazy when you look at Toledo's stat record. He seems like he's been around forever, and he's still 22. So he's a few years younger than the rookie Frederico Morais. But he qualified so young. Toledo always had that crazy freak factor approach, especially above the lip. Then with that win at Snapper, he made it clear that it was all about high-performance combinations. When he was on road to victory over Julian at Snapper at 2015, he showcased some of the biggest carves, and then right into an air, which made him so unbeatable. How do you break that combo?
How do you break it? Just hope he doesn't pull it off, really. I mean, there's no, you know, that's the thing. You can't really stop what Filipe is going to do. You basically got to focus on what you're good at, you know, and make sure you capitalize on that. Make sure Frederico, I think the way Frederico is going to win this final is by being on the better waves. You saw that with John. He beat John twice on the way to the final. So take that confidence. He beat Gabriel Medina this morning. Why? Because he was on the bombs, he was on the better waves, and he was dropping 9s. That's what he's going to need here in the final.
Frederico Morais was trying to get himself in a spot to qualify at the end of last season. Had a couple of results here and there, but the QS 10,000s hadn't worked for him until the Hawaiian leg started for the Triple Crown. Finished in a tie-break decision under John Florence and Haleiwa. Finaled again at Sunset Beach to give him a wild card to the Pipe Masters to really make a solid run at the Triple Crown. It was a pretty dramatic way to be not in the top 10, then flying all the way to finish number 4 on the qualifying series to make it official, a part of a classic rookie class this year on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's Frederico's forte. He's big, challenging waves. I mean, he surfed Sunset Beach probably as good as anyone did that day. It took a really informed Jordy Smith to take him down. You know, growing up in Portugal, you're dealing with these very kind of conditions. You know, cold winters, big, deep ocean swells, you know, and some radical waves. He's feeling comfortable, he's feeling at home, and he's looking pretty good, let me tell you.
Frederico Morais, under priority, starts to wind up. First turn, a speed racer down the line. He'll high line again to set up a big bottom turn to come around the corner. Just a little sweep. He's just hoping for a double up here through the car park section, and he'll jam it high off the lip. This thing shoving him down the line past Impossibles, and he packs it here. Sneaky exit. And Toledo's heating up. Big rooftop flop, Toledo in control. Draws out the layback down carve. Stalling, waiting, passing Frederico, starting to double up, tons of foam all around him, but he's got his rail line. Looking for a place to go, he has to get out of there. And coming off the best exchange so far early in the final here of the Corona Open JBAY. So an exciting heat already getting started, waiting on the numbers. Toledo just needed a 167 for a lead change, so very close. Strider, Raspberry, Wazalewski enjoying the elements as we check out this last wave. How's all this weather affecting the performance?
Well, you know, you got the offshore winds. Just paddling into these waves, you'd probably be going blind and then having to shake it off once you're in. And now that this rain has started to pelt up the face, you've got that constant, basic offshore, you know, wind blowing this rain and water right into your face. So it's probably a little hard to see everything going down the line. You have to be surfing squinted, but going for it nonetheless. These guys, the swell has just been pumping all the way through this thing. So Filipe finding off the bottom there, coming up into the corner, big gouge, wow. You know, these waves are setting up so perfectly. It's borderline too big, but it's not too big yet. And it's just perfectly wrapping down the point. The direction is holding it nice as he banks up again right there. And these waves are just giving him more space to turn. Wow, this is such a pleasure to be out here watching these guys. Huge rooftop right there. Are you kidding me? It is just firing out here right now. These guys going to town on the face.
Strider Potts has 10 fingers on his hands right now. He's asking for another 10 for the panel for this performance from Filipe. Wanted the bonus barrel, didn't get it there, but the damage was done on every section. He gave us something, Potts. Let's have a look.
Yeah, well, the send section didn't really cooperate for Filipe. A lot of white water on the face, but I think all the damage was done. I mean, you know, Frederico's going to have to crank it up. Why? Because Filipe is. He's putting a little bit more into his turns. Look at this maneuver here from him, holding that rail. Beautiful, big, solid wave from Toledo. And look at this. I mean, this is what you call confidence, complete control. He's got that acrobatic style of surfing that we just love from Filipe. Comboing it up. I mean, look at it. Comes around the section, doesn't miss a beat, and then just hooks it right in the pocket of JBAY, and then gives it that extra little extension of the body. I'm calling an excellent wave. It's got to be close up to into that, you know, almost 10-point range.
I can't believe that float on the top of the barrel, just to finish in control. Sean Thompson, you've had a lot of nicknames for Toledo throughout this event. What are you feeling like right now watching him?
Well, you know, I was never a fan of floaters, but when I saw that, it was the best floater I've ever seen in my life. And our erudite South African commentator up in the box, Gigs, he said, Toledo is a madman with a chainsaw.
We couldn't agree with him anymore, Sean. As we think about that float, what made that so special?
Well, it was absolutely committed. I actually thought when he went up, I thought the wind was going to blow him over the side. You know, he's not the biggest bloke in the world, but he just held that and held that and held that and held it like, and then he just dropped out of the sky and made it. I never thought he was going to make it. So I think from the judge's perspective, surprise, there was no like anticipation he was going to make it. The judges were as blown away as I was. Incredible.
Thank you, Sean. We're back into action with more from Filipe Toledo. Fades the carve. Now he's down the line now. That one's not going to give him a double up, so he's over it. 9-1-7 on his last, so Frederico looking for a big answer. First turn there for Frederico. Clean, sweeping carve. Always can control. Fading, wrapping cutback for the surfer from Portugal. And now he's fading, hoping this thing goes nice and round. He's deep. He's behind the section, completely gone, and now comes flying out. You can tell him thinking about staying in the pit longer. That's a tough decision to make. Solid move. Morais gets the completion. Parco's loving the action. Ace Bucket still on hand. What I've noticed, Potts, is the guys that have been knocked out early this event haven't gone anywhere. They're still here in the competitors' era watching finals day.
Well, it's perfect Jeffreys Bay. I mean, where would you rather be? I mean, it's right here. I mean, just to watch it is you know, amazing. And then maybe the ability later on to catch a couple yourself. I mean, here we go, Toledo.
Catching up halfway through Toledo. Driving off the top. Getting a big arc in the pocket as well. He's already thinking about getting barreled. Disappears for a moment there, just trimming beautifully to ensure the exit. Little speed jam, Toledo thinking about a finishing move. Late hit on the float, he recovers in the flats. 9-1-7 wave before, he's getting rid of a 5.83 now. Morais just locked in his best at a 6.67. All the numbers are going the right way, Potts.
Yeah, exactly right. But 6.67, I don't think that's going to cut it here in the final, even as a backup, Joe. I think it's going to be 17, 18 points is going to win this thing. And at the moment, Filipe, half the job done. 9-1-7, still waiting for that last wave for him to be locked in. Frederico Morais as well. Waiting for Frederico's wave. This is a bigger set wave as he scratches into it. Now he drops down, comes around the section, waiting for that wave to stand up. It's all about letting JBAY be the hero, and you're along for the ride. Morais off the bottom. There is that trademark turn. I think he's going to have to light it up a little bit more. Now he waits for the section on the inside. Draws off the bottom. Now he sees it. Now he drives through the barrel, standing tall, driving through that next section, disappears, and comes flying out at 100 miles an hour. Almost could have stayed in that thing a little bit longer, but it's easier said than done, let me tell you.
Unbelievable. How'd that pit look from your angle, Strider?
Absolutely amazing. I mean, look at that thing. It's just throating down the line, and he kind of curled out of it. And, you know, John's out here in the lineup, kind of thought maybe he could stay in it too. It's a, you know, that split-second decision. Those ones that run off down the end go so fast. They call it the impossibles, but hey, if you make that, you're going to get that great score. It's a big risk-reward factor there. Filipe just going through the roof, enjoying some time out here. I mean, just rapping, just having so much fun, going so fast, pulling into a little barrel of his own. He was just stalling, holding the wall perfectly, comes out for the little bit of a head whip, and then comes to the inside here and sets up a nice little finish. So it was really technical. These inside turns are so hard to do. He flies off into the flats. I mean, the projection out from the lip with that in the wind, that's a really, really technical.
Thank you, Strider, as we get the vision one more time of Filipe. Potts, it seems like Toledo has had more time to really stall and play with the barrel today on finals day. There's a couple of runaway sections, but he's been able to control those inside corners a bit more.
Well, it's unbelievable speed management. I mean, that's super technical. It's the ability, especially on this wave, it's one of the hardest things to do is wipe speed off. Because the wave's moving at such a speed, you don't want to wipe too much off. It's going to put you behind the section, and you might not make the wave. So it's a really fine line between just enough and not enough.
Let's jump into the support crew for Frederico Morais. Rosie Hodge is with Richard Dogmarsh.
Yeah, thanks so much. Well, coaching Frederico this week has been an absolute dream. Filipe Toledo has been an animal throughout this event. Do you touch on Filipe's performances before you let Frederico go in the water, or is it all his own game?
No, you've got to take your opponent into consideration. We felt like there was a good contrast with Filipe's snaps being really fast but short, where Frederico was taking a longer line, and we like to think a bit more rail, so that was sort of to focus on that. Unfortunately, the wind's come up a bit, and it's quite hard to keep your rail in, so a shorter snap policy probably looks better at the moment. Yeah, Fred just had a mistake there, and he was in a really good position for a barrel, and he came out a little soon, so he probably left another 1.5 points in that last wave.
And we can tell by the body language of the coaches sometimes how the people are doing in the water. The stress levels for you at the moment, or are you just trying to let him do his thing?
Yeah, look, I can't change anything from here, you know. I mean, my stress is just because I want to see him surf his best. It's not so much about winning at this point. It's just more about performing at a level I know he can. And, you know, I think that's kind of where it stays for us coaches. You know, we're always happy if our surfers win, but I think you're more happy just to see him, like, bring his best surfing to this sort of format.
And we see you scribbling into your secret playbook book there. Are you going to give us some insight into what you're writing down?
Not a chance. No, I'm not.
Well, Strider's got John at the back of the ski. Let's get some insight from the world champ.
Yeah, John Florence out here having a blast with his brother Ive. Hey, looking pretty good out here. You're still smiling. A lot of the guys, you know, in that race all fell out of the race together, so you're sitting pretty comfortable still.
Yeah, I'm stoked. A lot of the guys lost in quarters and semis and stuff, and it's really fun to watch this right now. The waves are absolutely firing, and there's nothing I can be bummed at right now. Getting super fun waves from my brother, getting barreled, and it's awesome.
And what about Filipe's performance through this event so far? It's pretty much taking it to the next level.
Yeah, I think Filipe is just ripping. I think he's just super amped after missing Fiji and got super psyched up, and he's been taking things to the next level.
What about Frederico? He seems to be, you know, he's a rookie, but seems to be super settled in and composed.
Yeah, Frederico's been surfing so good. You know, we had that heat yesterday. It was real close. He got that 10 and that 9.7, and that was amazing. It's super fun to surf heats like that where it's just a battle. And he's been surfing so on point this whole event. This wave fits his surfing really well.
What's the plan here? You're just going to sit out here and get a couple more on the corner?
Yep, I'm thinking I'm going to get this next set that's coming right here, and I'm going to get barreled.
All right, we'll get back to getting barreled. You guys get back to calling the heat. Action's still amazing out here. Channel views pretty much second to none.
That's right, Strider. Rain or shine, still the best seat of the house. Right in the water with the world's best. And a little quick chat with world champ John Florence. And what a way to wipe off a loss to Frederico Morais. Just get barreled all day with your brother Ivan and have the lineup to yourself in just a moment. Still 20 minutes on the final. Morais had the 10 to take out Florence on his way to this big matchup. And Frederico kind of had a lot of world champs to deal with. Had Fanning and John in the non-elimination round. Won that. Had to get past John again. And then Medina in the semifinals. So all the world titles on that top end of the draw. As we continue out the back, priority is with Frederico, needing a 9-1-7 to take the lead. Last waves, they both came in tied at an 8-3-3. 5 judges on the panel. They had different opinions on it, but on the average, when you drop the high and the low, sometimes you get the same number. So, for instance, Judge 5 liked Filipe's better than Frederico's, where Judge 3 liked Morais' better than Toledo. So then you just get that mix, which makes the next exchange pretty exciting.
Yeah, it does. Frederico needing a 9-1-7. So this is the split screen here. This is 2 ways to get that 8.33. Both guys surfing incredibly well. You heard Richard Marsh talk about just hold that rail a little longer, whereas Filipe's got a little bit more whip in his turns, but I think Filipe's got that ability as well to hold that rail. A little bit of a longer barrel for Filipe, a little bit of bigger barrel for Frederico. So there's different ways to ride this wave, different ways to get that 8.33, both unbelievable.
Seeing the finish down the line, the late hit off the roof from Toledo, incredible landing. So tied on the 8.33, but Toledo still has the 9.17 to his name from his second effort in this final. So Morais with priority needs a 9.17. Sean Thompson, where should Frederico be sitting at the moment?
Well, it's interesting where he's sitting right now. He's sitting way up the point. Certainly that's where you can get the bombs from, but a lot more risky, more difficult to make the wave. And also from a consistency perspective, it's also risky because the waves generally bend into the beginning of the wave. They bend into the middle of the bay. The big bombs, only the big bombs are makeable from that end. So taking a bit of a chance there, but I think maybe he realizes that, he should have pulled in longer on that barrel ride. He's really going to go for it now by picking up one of those extreme bombs.
So thinking about the bombs on hand, Sean, in this final, with the rain coming down and the turbulence from the wind as well, is it pretty easy to surf at this stage, or is this the most challenging heat of the day?
No, I think it's the most challenging from the wind perspective. Certainly it seems to be way more gusty than it's been, but the wave face is still very, very smooth. It's a little bit, well, it's a lot more windy on the outside, but as you come into this car park section, that offshore wind grooms the face. It's protected from the, it's not as gusty because of the sand dune here. So I think that's really where the big points are going to be scored. That's where we're going to see those deep barrels. I'm still waiting for my 6-second barrel. Frederico had a chance there.
He sure did. What's the vibe like, Sean, behind you? We noticed half the tour is right there watching this final go down.
All the guys are here watching, and when Filipe did that huge freefall floater, there was like a lot of open mouths and people like reevaluating what they have to do in their own surfing in order to combat with what did Giggs call him, a madman with a chainsaw.
Really impressive. Always great to hear from former world champ Sean Thompson, winning his title back in 1977. Won the first event out here, JBAY, back in 1981. The Beach Hotel Classic. Had a prize purse of 850 Rand.
That was the year I started surfing, Joe.
That was it.
Yep.
Sean take you here that year?
No.
Huh. He was trying to beat you.
just started.
Yeah, you just started. 16:30 on the clock in this final. Toledo still setting the pace with plenty of time to go. We'll be back for more action at Jeffreys Bay after this. You're watching the final of the Corona Open JBAY. As we look at the list of past champions, you'll see Mick Fanning's name up there 4 times. He won as a rookie back in 2002. Scored top 3 waves back then. and he took top honors over Mick Lowe, a solid goofy foot that represented Australia. Joel Parkinson, a two-time champ, as a wild card in 99 and more recently in 09 over Damien Hobgood in the final. Kelly's won all the way back to 96. The 95 event was a Billabong Challenge, of invite-only event. Jake Patterson's been here coaching. He went back-to-back in his titles. So you see a lot of familiar names on there that went on to repeat events. De Souza's win was a QS, so Filipe could be the first Brazilian, if he wins, to take over the CT here. During the break, Frederico got a gem of a wave.
Well, Frederico Morais needing a 9.17, Joe, and this kid's been dropping bombs this entire event, taking down world champions with unbelievable surfing. He's going to need it here on this wave. Already off to a great start. Just holding that rail, banging it up through the lip, mixing it up, trying to give that point of difference all the way down through the inside. Now the wave starts to come into that car park section. Now we start to look down the line at impossibles. What's he got for us? He pulls into the barrel and sneaks out the end there. So not a deep barrel there to finish off, but a lot of big waves out the back. Filipe straight into the tube on the takeoff. He comes out. These guys are going at back-to-back. Filipe looking to replace an 8.33. Frederico Morais looking for a 9.17. Smaller wave for Filipe. He's going to have to light it up and over the top. Now we start to see him use that rail. Low off the bottom, springing into step. As he comes off the bottom again, banging it up through the lip there. Lightning fast turns from Filipe Toledo, and another big turn from him as he comes through the inside, looking for the tube now. Slows down, not offering in on that occasion, up through the lip, and decides to kick out of that. So Filipe Toledo looking to improve on an 8.33. Frederico Morais is looking for a 9.17, Joe, and early indications are
he's done pretty well. Frederico Morais blitzing that wave from start to finish. Didn't get much of a barrel on the inside, but he did land on his feet. Didn't get caught up in the closeout there. Picked a wave that just had a nice tempo to get his rhythm down and lay down some big tracks. Toledo trying to keep his lead. Remember, he had the 9.17 before, so an absolute battle. Surfers into the 9s to win this one. We'll see if we'll get another 10 to close this one off, because Toledo's got a reputation for that. In all previous wins for Toledo, he has 3 of them. He's had a 10 in each final.
Yes, a 10 in each final, and let's see if he can do the same here. 12 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Early indications are he's going to need something special. Frederico Morais on that last wave. He surfed it well, made no mistakes. That's for sure. Let's have a look. Beginning of the wave. First turn. Almost a check turn just to get things going. Second turn, a little bit of a free fall drop. A nice smooth third turn. Clean turn number 4. As he draws off the bottom, now the wave starts to stand up and he holds that rail through that inside section. Big, huge bottom turn. There we go. Nice vertical through the lip. Starting to mix it up as he comes through the inside. There's that swooping maneuver from Morais. Another jamming turn, showing the judges variety, showing them that speed, power, and flow. Now trying to find the tube ride through that inside section. Wow.
Incredible wave there for Frederico Morais. As we know, he just kind of took a look at the barrel and straightened out to get the completion. His previous wave, an 8.33 putts.
Wasn't a long barrel, was it, Joe? It was just a quick little in and out to finish off.
Just looked at it real quick. Filipe was on the wave behind it. Let's see what Morais did here. He's looking for the lead.
Nice opening turn from Morais. Almost lost it right there on that one. There's that swooping turn, just setting it up, getting himself back into the guts of the wave. Now he starts to unleash that foot right back on the tail pad as he drives into that maneuver. Again, through the lip, so connecting multiple times, showing some variety. Another turn there from Morais. He needs to mix it up through the inside. Now he's looking for the tube. Gets covered up slightly and pulls out the back, and a big score for Frederico Morais.
Frederico locks in a 9.4 and gets the lead on the answer. Toledo drops an 8.83 and gets the lead right back. So now down to the final 10 minutes. Morais now still chasing an 8.60.
Wow.
To try to win his first championship tour event.
Unbelievable stuff. And you know what? It's still not going to be enough. I think Frederico's going to come back at him again. Toledo with priority. 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Toledo's going to have to up the ante on his next ride. He's got to better that 8.83. Morais has made it quite clear. He's got plenty left in the tank. Look at his scores, Joe. Started with a 3, came back with a 4.5, then he dropped a 6.67, then he dropped an 8.33, now a 9.4. He's getting better and better and better as this final goes on.
Every time he makes a move, he provides excellence, and the last 2 decisions are his best. Morais still chasing an 8.6 to catch up with a fired-up Filipe Toledo as we rewind a highlight reel of a final here at the Corona Open JBAY. These 2 surfers both came into this matchup with big scores. They both have had 10s along the way and taken down some of the biggest names. Filipe Toledo got things underway with beautiful rail work, turned in a 9.17 and got the lead.
Yeah, I honestly thought this might have gone a little higher. There was some great variety. Look at the size of the wave. It was clean. Toledo just unleashed everything, and then including this. I mean, that was insane from Filipe Toledo. The crowd absolutely went wild, and then to back it up with that, a 9.17, maybe just a little bit undercooked in my eyes. Frederico Morais, a 9.4, which is the best scoring wave of the heat so far, but we've so far left. 8 minutes and 30 remaining. These guys aren't done yet. Frederico Morais wants to never ever give up. He's been in a combo before against John Florence. He came back and got himself out of that with a 10-point ride. Can he do it again, Joe? He's going to need something special come the back part of this heat.
Seeing Frederico Morais look so steady, so easy on his rails, and timing this end section pit, he had such an amazing vision and so much room to move. One of the best barrels we've seen of this matchup. Frederico celebrating the 8.33 to the 9.4 as Toledo was pushed to get his lead back with this 8.83 of his own.
Yeah, I mean, look at the turns that Felipe's doing. You know, Morais, he's holding that rail, yes, maybe a little bit longer, but Toledo's got a little bit more zip, a little bit more zag in his turns. But this turn right here, I mean, that is total commitment. That is really just amazing stuff. And then to come straight out of that, into that next turn, nothing short of amazing from both these guys. What a final we've got on our hands. Filipe Toledo from Brazil, Frederico Morais from Portugal. Who is going to win? 7.5 minutes remaining, and we'll be able to crown a new champion here at the Corona Open at the famous break of Jeffreys Bay.
Incredible matchup. 2 new names looking to get a part of that prestigious list of past champs. Seemed like things really started opening up for Frederico as he got more confidence. He doesn't have to hold back for another heat. He's leaving it all on the line, building from his 6s before, and his last wave, the 9.4, that's really giving him a fighting shot. There's a couple judges on your point of view, Potts. Judge 5 thinking Toledo's 9.17 was better than this last exchange. That's what makes it so close. 5 opinions on the panel. Right now, Morais still chasing at 8.6.
Wow, Joe. I mean, it's Jeffreys Bay has just been on fire this last week. We have seen so much action. We've seen that many 10-point rides. We've had so much go down. And to finish off 2 informed surfers on this day is just absolutely insane. It is definitely the best event of the year so far.
Toledo, looking at his score line there, you see he has first priority as well with 6:20 to go. It's absolutely been pumping in this 40-minute final, and you're starting to think the amount of chances we're going to have left to answer with 6 minutes on the clock.
I think they've both got one more shot, Joe. I think there's enough fuel. I think they both run in on almost empty, I would have to say. I think there's one more roll, one more wave, one more exchange that is going to go down that is going to determine the final. Frederico Morais needs an 8.60, and I've always said Filipe Toledo needs to better that 8.83 because I know Frederico Morais is not going to give up until he does.
Well, Frederico Morais is trying to be a rookie to take out a CT event in his first lap around the world against the top 34. It happens here and there. Last year we had a few rookies with chances, from Kanoa Garashi at Pipeline to Connor Coffin at Portugal, Jack Freestone as well back in Rio. Thinking about this year, more recently the final in Fiji, Connor O'Leary, runner-up to Matt Wilkinson, and now the very next event, a big part of the rookie class, representing today, and now approaching the 5-minute warning. You think about Medina as a rookie, he won a couple of events. John won in Brazil. Doesn't happen every year though, Potts.
No, it's a rarity, that's for sure. A difficult thing to do. These seasoned veterans, these seasoned campaigners just refuse to let it happen, really, don't they?
It's true. Just every once in a while someone does it, and when you do, you're remembered forever. Jadson Andre won as a rookie over Kelly in Brazil, and that's one of the biggest days of his career still. With now 4:45 to go. All of Portugal looking on, watching their hero in action. Morais has been able to compete at Super Tubos as wild cards, was able to get to the quarterfinals in the past. We talked about Thiago's personal best as a semifinal, and Thiago made a few of them. One in Indo, the next year he made one in France. Thiago Pettis made the semifinals also on the Gold Coast. But this is the first final appearance for Portugal. Could it be the first win as we look at 4:10 still to go on the clock?
Yep. Morais having a look, deciding not to go on that occasion. Toledo with priority, 4 minutes remaining. I'm trying to have a look around the corner, Joe. It's a little bit of a sleepy ocean here at the moment.
And looking at these conditions, separating the scores here. Sean Thompson, in the preview to this matchup, you were comparing the carves we were going to see. What are the judges liking at the moment?
Yeah, I said it might be a battle between the pure calves of Frederico and the creative calves of Filipe, and it seems to me like they're moving more towards purity as opposed to creativity. I thought Filipe's wave might have been underscored, that hell freefall floater that he did after those two radical calves. So, you know, you just never know how the ebb and flow of the heat actually runs. We've only got a few minutes left here, but Frederico, it's amazing. He's so sort of solid on his feet. Yesterday he needed a 9-1 with like a minute to go, and he needed an 8-9. He got a 9-1. So the guy is super solid. But I think the judges are really rewarding this purity as opposed to creativity.
Loving the breakdown. Sean Thompson, former world champ, looking on. With now 3 minutes on the clock, Toledo holds priority and the lead, looking for his first win since 2015 when he finished number 4 in the world on the Jeep leaderboard. After an injury last year, in action at the semifinal at Snapper, becoming a father. Last year he just moved on to come back even stronger. Then he missed Fiji due to the suspension and came back in such an impressive way here to take down some of the favorites to win. A win here for Toledo puts him in the top 10. Same's on the line for Frederico. Frederico now making Toledo use his priority. Front side rip into the pocket. Nice vertical off the top. Toledo, big float with some time to check the horizon. Wraps it in the pocket. Nice vertical again. Looking for something major through the inside wall. It's a down carve. Now a little slap off the lip. Still some room. Nose pick, reverse, just to seal it on the inside corner. And leaving Frederico alone for 2 minutes now with the lineup of Jeffries Bay to himself.
I'm not liking it, Joe. I'm not liking it at all. I know it would have taken nerves of steel to let that wave go and give Frederico an opportunity, but now he's left Frederico out the back. Looks like some lines starting to approach. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. I tell you what, he needed to improve on an 8.83. I don't think he's done it. So he's left the door slightly open right here for Frederico Morais.
Down to 1 minute 15 to decide a brand new JBAY champ. He's our first time finalist in this matchup in one of the best years we've had for waves. Both these guys collected 10s along the way. They're demanded to get 10s with the amount of amazing surfing that was going down. Morais dealt with the world champion list on the high side of the draw.
Oh my.
And Filipe dealt with Jordy and Julian, some of the best surfers in the world.
Oh my, oh my.
Everyone's holding their breath. It's coming down to this. Morais needs an 8.60 and he hops right out of there.
There's one behind it though.
Last at Toledo, 7.6, just like you thought. Potts didn't change the requirement. Will Morais get another chance?
I don't know. I don't know.
Potts is squirming in his seat. All eyes on the horizon. Will the rookie get another chance?
Doesn't look like it, does it? 20 seconds to go. Looks like Filipe Toledo has dodged the bullet.
What a final with multiple lead changes. Frederico ends up turning in the 9-4. Got the lead, but Toledo's answer was important to get right back in first. as we close out one of the best events we've had at JBAY, the Corona Open. JBAY goes to Filipe Toledo.
Wow.
Amazing moment right there from the young Brazilian. Missed Fiji, dropped down the rankings. Knew he needed a good result to get himself back in the mix, to make himself feel better about himself. Joe, he moves to number 7 in the world.
What a comeback for Toledo, the first from Brazil to win a championship tour event here at Jeffreys Bay, and he redefined how to get the job done with one of the most high-performance, radical approaches on road to the final. 2 10s along the way, a 9-1-7 in the final, and an 18-point total. Your new number 7 in the world, Filipe Toledo, as we head into Tahiti.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. You know, either one of those guys could have won that heat. I thought Frederico Morais, what a performance from him. He's just put himself in that situation of belonging on the World Tour, making his surfing relevant for sure.
The champs already with Strider on the sled.
Yeah, boys. Well, congratulations, Filipe Toledo. What a way to return to competition. Absolutely breaking all the rules here at JBAY.
Oh my God, I still can't believe it. You know, JBAY is always a contest that it wasn't my dream to win, and to surf perfect waves like this that we did in the entire window. So I don't know, man. I gotta thank God, for the amazing week that we had. Me and my family, wife, daughter, and then Bruno as well, my filmer, always supporting me. It was an unbelievable, speechless. Thank God.
Well, you made a joke about dyeing your hair trying to surf like Mick Fanning. I think everybody else is going to be dyeing their hair blue so they can surf like Filipe Toledo after that performance.
Oh God, Oh, I think it worked. I think I might live like this for the rest of the year. Never know.
Well, congratulations on a huge win. Great way to return to competition, and we cannot wait to see your action in Tahiti.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was really awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks everyone that was watching. Obrigado, família. Tá torcendo. Tamo junto. Essa foi pra vocês.
All right, we're going to get Philly back to the beach. There you go, your champion. The Corona Open at JBAY, Filipe Toledo.
Thank you very much, Strider. Through the rain and the squalls in that last heat, Toledo still was knifing it, going for broke. The 9-1-7 was brilliant. He's the king of the combinations. So much variety and absolutely exploding to the top in this amazing field of athletes in an incredible week. Like we said, Potts, there's the events you really remember, like the 2014 Chopu year where we have the semifinal with John and Kelly. Medina wins. Those are the ones these athletes strive for, remembering they won at that venue as good as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely. And Filipe touched on the fact of how amazing the window was here at Jeffreys Bay. It just came to play. I mean, even if we had one of those days, we would have still remembered this event. But to have back-to-back days of just incredible waves, 8 10-point rides, some of the most crazy jaw-dropping performances that I think we've ever seen. Filipe Toledo, definitely. I mean, two big alley-oops on one wave, redefined how to surf Jeffreys Bay. I mean, just that traditional surfing is out the door now, and it's opened the gates for a whole new approach.
Filipe Toledo jumps to 7th in the world, just behind Joel Parkinson. Julian Wilson right behind him at 8th. You see Medina now inside the top 10, making the semifinals, and Connor O'Leary still hanging on to the lead just in the Rookie of the Year race. Frederico Morais just outside the top 10, number 12 in the world at the moment, with a huge statement made from this rookie. Nerves of steel, took down multiple world champs to make a final at his first appearance at JBAY. That was incredible.
Yeah, he's got to hold his head up high. He's got to be proud of himself. I tell you what, he's held his own against some of the world's best. Took down John in fine fashion. Took down Gabriel Medina this morning, dropping 9-point rides left, right, and center, 10s as well. Just unbelievable stuff from Frederico Morais. But that man there was not to be denied.
I think that one wave, obviously the 10 with the 2 gigantic alley-oops, is the video ending wave for Filipe's story here at JBAY. But he had our first 10 in round 2, his highest combined heat total. He unfortunately had the bye with Kelly because he wanted to surf again, but when he came back to round 4, he was hot. He has a lot of waves to go through, showing new talent. It's not just the air approach that makes him special, it's also his turns on the open face and drive, which give us that call of a new school approach. And the other guy in that same conversation, Florence, there to congratulate what was definitely a mind-blowing performance at Jeffreys Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anyone was going to beat him, really, after that double alley-oop. I don't think anyone could match that kind of surfing. I don't think, you know, people would have paddled out, and in the back of their mind, they were thinking, well, I'm just going to do my best and hope that Filipe makes a few mistakes because that was the only way someone was going to beat him.
What would it be like to look at JBAY through Filipe's eyes? His vision, I don't think people are looking for turns he's looking for. He's still just 22 years of age. This is his 4th win of his career as he's just jumping back into the world title race. Some events that he always does well at. He's always been solid in Europe. Loves lower trestles. I'm surprised that one hasn't gone his way yet.
Yeah, well, you know, I think this is a sign of things to come. You know, ranked up into the top 7 now. We've got different winners each and every event so far this year. I think that's put him right in there. I mean, if he can manufacture a few more wins through the year, we got Chopu next, and then Trestles, Europe. I think this kid's, if he can get on a roll, man, he's got world title written all over him.
So that time away for Toledo, he just worked hard, went on a surf trip to the Maldives and stayed focused and humble to come back. Potts, you've referenced that idea before. Sometimes it's to injury. When something's sort of taken away from you, when you got to sit back and wait, you can come back bigger and better. This is the best example I've seen of that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, he knew missing Fiji was big, but then to come back and do this was even bigger.
Toughest responsibilities, the chair up the beach, especially when it's cold and raining. You got stairs ahead of you. Maybe next to his 10s, his next favorite ride in the world, as his feet won't touch the sand. Filipe Toledo, your 2017 Corona Open JBAY champion. As we see the resurgence of the Brazilian Storm in the top 10. De Souza, the one-man standing in the lead up to this event. Now adding Medina, now back to Toledo, joining De Souza in the top 10.
World title, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not a matter of if, is it, Joe?
It's going to happen at some stage for Toledo. Watching how this season started. You think Snapper, his pet event, he got knocked out in round 2 just to keep us on our toes. Semi-final finish under Kolohe when we look back, and Margaret River, we saw him absolutely blitz the field at Jeffreys Bay after that one event off due to suspension in Fiji, and he came back with such a clear head, so focused. And since round 2, that heat with Kanoa, he's been into the X-Zone range, all over the top 10 charts for combined heat totals. And sometimes spots in history, that's not always the guy that goes all the way. He wasn't peaking too early. He was just doing what Toledo does best.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the thing, you know, knowing when to peak, knowing if you have those unbelievable heats, you know, is that my best? Have I already used my best? But not him.
What a special moment in surfing history. Filipe Toledo taking the first win for Brazil at the CT level in such a dynamic way. We have so many highlights, so many stories. What's been the most incredible week at JBAY we can remember in a long time. Stick around for the WSL post show. Coming up next with Ronnie Blakey, Sean Thompson, and Peter Mell. Be right back.
Do you like that? Well, if so, subscribe over there and then watch more videos over there. And then tell us your favorite videos down there. It's a 3-step process. Do them all now.